Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host today on the Conservation and Restoration podcast for biology. And today I'm going to be talking about the Great Barrier Reef, while my co-host here, named
Justin Barrett,
will be talking about.
the protection of endangered species.
See, that goes hand in hand for what I'm talking about. So, let me start off with a quick definition of conservation biology. Conservation biology is the management of nature and of Earth's biodiversity with the aim of protecting species, their habitats, and ecosystems from excessive rates of extinction and the erosion of biotic interactions. So essentially, in my case, things like oil spills happening and or like animals overeating other animals or people just interfering with the ecosystem of the Great Barrier Reef in general, like taking things or leaving things that aren't supposed to be there, plastic bags washing up and getting animals trapped inside, or just taking from the environment. Anything you would like to start off with, Justin?
Well, since you already explained conservation, I'll go right ahead and explain restoration. They kind of go hand in hand. Um, Restoration ecology, practice of renewing and restoring degraded, damaged, or destroyed ecosystems and habitats in the environment by human intervention and action. So basically, um, that'll lead me right to one of my points for protection of endangered species. So basically, one of the ways to protect an endangered species and their population is by habitat management. So sometimes the habitat that the endangered species may live in is unfit for them to survive. And so part of saving them is basically human intervention, meaning they go out there and they make it fit for the endangered species to live there, to be able to survive, reproduce, and hopefully not be so endangered anymore. Anything you would like to add?
Yeah. I'm just gonna go jump right into some of the stats that I have about the Great Barrier Reef. The Great Barrier Reef is an area is bigger than Victoria and Tasmania combined. Those are the those are two big parts of Australia, and that is massive. We're talking about two key parts of a whole continent just taking up a whole space in the ocean. You know how large that is, and for that to just be taken away from the world, that's a
Kind of hard
travesty.
to fathom.
It's a travesty. That shouldn't be allowed. The Great Barrier Reef is home to over 500 species of fish, 360 species of coral, and more than 4,000 species of mollusk. So, for this to even be an issue, that the Great Barrier Reef needs to be conserved in the first place instead of people just leaving it alone or it just not having any issues in the first place is beyond me. Why would no one want to protect this natural wonder? It doesn't make any sense. In 1972, UNESCO adopted the Convention concerning the protection of the world cultural and natural heritage, which is implemented by the World Heritage Committee. Primarily, the committee is in charge of ensuring protection of 962 World Heritage sites, including the Great Barrier Reef. And what they strive for is to protect all the properties that they consider to have outstanding universal value, or OUV for short. And the Great Barrier Reef was added to that list in 1981, my bad, sorry. And the reason why the reef is under threat, immediate threats to the reef came from agriculture and significantly ports accommodating coal. So things like natural gas and oil and stuff like that, like all those like drilling and extraction plants, all that stuff that you see in the ocean and all you see in the news all the time. Like, I know you've seen it. Like, the Gulf is always like there's always an oil spill, right?
Very true.
So that's all messing with their environment, and it's breaking it down to the point where certain fish can't live there anymore, and it's getting rid of their habitats where they lived. So it's kind of like you've watched Finding Nemo. So like where Nemo and his dad Marlin lived in the sea anem. I can't even pronounce it. Oh my god, the sea anemone. I think that's how he said it. But like, but imagine, right, that's gone because we keep drilling in the oceans and causing rifts and spills and all these other pollutants to destroy this natural wonder. And I just can't understand why this would be such an issue.
They even have soap for like the birds. You know, the birds that go into the water. They even have soap to help get the birds off. Like, you ever seen those?
Yeah, the Dawn commercials.
Yeah, the Dawn commercials.
Yeah, that was like every time I look at my soap, I see that actually. Like it has a picture of a baby bird on there. I think it's a penguin. I can't remember. But it just saddens me, you know? Because this is our world. We should be taking care of it instead of destroying it. I understand we need an energy source, but there has to be another way without getting rid of such a wonderful piece of our world heritage. Something that everyone for miles comes to see. And that's where I think I'm going to end my segment. Yeah, I'll let you take over.
Right. And basically, that leads back right to habitat management. You know, you got to maintain the habitat for these creatures. An example of this, which Will Sean previously explained, one of his examples so well, is that one of these endangered animals, the whooping crane, had to have its habitat managed with human intervention, basically increasing the numbers of these birds. So it jumped from only 15 individuals in 1941 to 250 birds in 1993, which, if you look at the span, it might not seem like so many, but they are reproducing and it does take time. So, and 145 of those individuals were in captivity. So I think that having being able to restore their habitats and just having that habitat management plays a big role in being able to protect. Exactly. So protecting these animals. Another example is I hope I pronounce this right, the peregrine falcon, which is like included in the eastern population. It was enhanced by captive breeding and just habitat management, keeping it under control, where in a place where it can survive. So I think these are big points that, like, if you want to save these and protect these endangered species, these are some of the things you have to do. Even as far as going as to stopping like hunting, like controlling hunting of what you can and can't hunt. Like, I know that the wood duck, for example, was endangered by overhunting for its meat and its like beautiful feathers and stuff.
Yeah.
And by
from like shows like Duck Dynasty, I can imagine.
Exactly. It's actually kind of crazy, like to overhunt these animals. So like you can imagine how that would affect like not only those animals, but those animals that prey on those animals and like the whole cycle, like kind of like a domino effect.
Yeah.
And, and so basically they were hunting for the wood ducks for their feathers and for its meat, and which ended up leading to it becoming an endangered species. So people had to step in and put control over the hunting, that you really couldn't go after these birds like that, so that they can reproduce and get out of that endangerment zone and just push it to the so that they can be able to reproduce to the next level.
So
And
I see.
I think that being able to like conservation and restoration play a huge part in being able to just keeping the whole everything running smoothly through like the ecosystem and everything. And yeah, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think we're done. This has been the Restoration and Conservation Podcast with your host, Will Sean Wright, and your co host,
Justin Barrett.
and we are signing off. See you next time.